as we had a little problem with our Zoom population. The good news is so many people want to be on that we needed to get a different link so that we could expand how many people we are allowed to have on the Zoom. So I thank you for joining us. I'm going to just share my screen so that you can see a presentation, and I'll talk through some of those things. You can use the chat, if you would, for questions. If they are pertinent to exactly what I'm talking about, I have somebody, Ms. Kropps, here to help me to answer the questions. If we don't get to all of the questions during, I'll take questions after, and also if we don't get to all of them, I'll get back to you if we need to get more information. If you could just keep your microphones muted during this time so that we don't have any feedback, that would be appreciated. Now I'm going to share. So the first thing that I want to say is how much we miss all of the students. And we are preparing for the school year. We are all here very excited. And I just want to get through some specific information that really relates to the middle school and try to answer any questions that you might have. As you know, there are a lot of kinks when we're trying to work something out like this. And I appreciate all of the patience and the support that I've been receiving and that all of us have been receiving from the community as we are preparing for this. So the first thing is, how and where is everyone learning this fall from the middle school? So I have a chart here that gives you just an idea about how many students are or have selected to use the hybrid model and how many are 100% virtual. And we have, I would say, about 26% going virtual, and we have a varying amount at each grade level. So it's quite different at 7th grade, and we have a really high percentage at 5th grade, for example. This just gives you an idea of where things stand right now. So one of the things that I want to talk about that's a little bit different this year is entering and exiting the building. And due to all of the health and safety regulations that we're putting in place, we are putting some things on our agenda here to talk about that are very specific for social distancing. So the school day starts at 7:49 and ends at 2:30. As you know from previous times, we are not having that after school time with a late bus this fall. So when coming to the building, bus drop off will be in the tennis court parking lot, and a crossing guard will cross students. That is as it's been in the past. That's new for 5th graders coming to our building, but that will stay the same. Family drop off it's very important that you not drop students off before 7:35. It is the time when the building will open and we will be greeting students, but we are not able to have lines and large groups hanging around outside socializing as we have in the past. So not before 7:35, please. And we are splitting up the drop off. So 5th and 6th grade families should drop off in the front circle, which is our usual and typical of what has been in the past drop off, and keeping in mind where you're pulling all the way up to the door so that you can drop students off, and watching for people who are crossing. The same will be true for 7th and 8th grade, but this time you're going to drop off in the circle by the gym doors. So it's on the side of the building where the gym is located. And there is a circle there too, so you can come in, drop off, and circle back out and exit. The students will be entering in different doors, through different doors. So 5th grade will enter through the front entrance. 6th grade, the door by Mrs. Van Arnham's room. And so for the now rising 6th graders, you'll know where Mrs. Van Arnham's room is. So there's an outside doorway right there that's right by the steps that go up to 6th grade. 7th grade will be the door by the gymnasium and the cafe, which is by Mr. Scheffler's office door. 8th grade will enter the door to the right of the gym. It's at the bottom of the 8th grade stairwell. The tech room is over there. When entering the building, it's important that students are wearing a mask, so they must have a mask in the building. Of course, you have to have a mask when you're riding the bus as well. We'll be greeted and checked in, and we will be working with the students to maintain and practice that social distancing. And we'll screen them if necessary. And then they'll have an opportunity to go and pick up a grab-and-go breakfast in the cafe line. And then they'll go to their lockers and to their pod room to get ready for first period. And then exiting the building, the students will exit through the same designated door, and pickup will be in the same loop, same place where you drop off is the same place where you pick up. So I want to say something about the health screener. For many of you, you've been on previous Zoom meetings for the whole community and are familiar with, if you've looked through our materials, that families are an integral part of helping us keep our school healthy. And so you will be screening for those kind of symptoms, including your temperature at home each day before sending the students to school. And at school, when they get here, we will follow up with anyone who we don't already show as having been through screening in the morning. So please let the students know, and any students who are on, that you may end up having to get your temperature taken at school, especially on the orientation days, which I'll talk about more today, until our screener is really up and running. Families are going to receive a Google form called Daily Health Screener. That'll be in operation for the orientation days. And you should be receiving that tomorrow, I think. Please keep your child home if they have a fever of 100 or more, because we'll just end up having to call you to come get them. So please make sure you take temperatures. So an important way to understand how this is all working at the middle school is to understand the cohorts and the pods and how instruction will work based on those. So all students, 100% virtual and hybrid, have been assigned to a Monday, Wednesday, which we call blue, or Tuesday, Thursday, gold cohort. They have also all been assigned a pod, either hybrid or virtual pod. Hybrid students will attend in person on the days of their assigned cohort and following the schedule that they have. And that will be on their asynchronous or synchronous days, will happen on the opposite days from when they're here. 100% virtual students will follow the schedule and will have synchronous instruction on their assigned cohort day, and either synchronous or asynchronous on the opposite days. So it'll start to make sense once you are participating in that way. You get invitations from Google Classrooms from the teachers so that you'll know when to log in, and the teachers will talk through what kinds of things you'll need to be doing and when. All students will have asynchronous learning on Fridays. And just a reminder for people, asynchronous is you may be on the computer or you may not, but it is definitely not at the same time on the computer online with a teacher. Synchronous, you would be online with the teacher. So Friday learning is asynchronous, and there are also teacher office hours, though, available from 2 to 3 p.m. And whatever classes you're in, the teachers will talk to you about what your assignments are, what the asynchronous pieces are that you will be doing, and you will have access to that in your Google Classroom. Just to give an idea about some of the pods, 5th grade has 2 self-contained pods. That means there's 1 teacher for English, math, science, and social studies. And then 2 of the pods are shared between 2 teachers. And they're blending together some of the 100% virtual students as well. 6th grade has 4 self-contained pods. 3 of them are hybrid and 1 is virtual. 7th grade has 5 pods. 1 of them is virtual. And teachers are assigned and will travel to the pods except for language classes advanced math, and some of the encore classes. Primarily, you will be working still in your own pod of 8 to 12 people, and you will be having teachers come into the pod to teach. Sometimes you will leave to go, though, to language classes or some encore. 8th grade, it's very similar. I sent an email out today regarding schedules. We have had some glitches in putting everything together in School Tool. Mrs. Thompson, the school counselor, brought me the stack of the master schedule, which is typically, I guess, 25 pages. And she said it was, it was like almost 3 inches thick today. So it's very complicated and detailed. And so it has taken more time than we anticipated. So that they're being mailed, but you may not get them in time, but I want you to know that you will get them. You will receive a copy when you attend orientation, and you will be receiving an email regarding where to go on first period, or where your pod is, so that you are sure where to go on Monday, and you are sure where to log in, where and when to log in if you are virtual. You will,
or if you go on Tuesday.
the combinations, it'll also be on your schedule. Just a little bit about lockers. We are using lockers. They are spread out so that the students aren't right next to each other like they would be on a normal day at middle school. So they're spread out a little bit. And we also assign lockers and locker combinations, even if you're 100% virtual, in case you become a hybrid or some other version of 100% back in the second semester. This is just kind of a rundown of what the pods look like. And then mostly I'm doing this so that I can have it on this presentation so that we'll post it up on the website, and if for your reference, and you can go back to look at it. And this lists where the rooms are for the pods. It might mean something to the students. Some of the pods are, we're organized kind of in wings here at the middle school. So most of the 5th grade is happening in the 5th grade wing and the 6th grade wing and so on. Some of the pod rooms we have had to kind of expand or move around so that we have enough room and enough space to have the social distancing space that we need to have in each of the rooms, and allow for basically up to 12 students in a classroom. They won't always have up to 12, there won't always be 12, but we needed to make sure that we had rooms that would allow for that. And so we set that up. So there've been a few room changes. These are the period schedules also for your reference. And I had Mrs. Phillips put them up on the website today. So they'll also be there for your reference, where the period schedule normally is. The difference this year, for those of you who are old timers here at the LMS, we have a different schedule for each grade level, really. And so the Bell schedule looks different. 5th and 6th graders have 9 periods, 7th and 8th graders have 10 periods. One of them just being a short break, which is something new. Okay, so there have been a lot of questions about the orientation days, so I'm going to try to clear up any questions about these. So basically, this coming Monday and Tuesday are orientation days. They will be considered in-person orientation days and also virtual. So for those who are in the hybrid model, if you are Monday, Wednesday, or blue cohort, you are going to attend on Monday, September 14th, all day in person. And if you are in the Tuesday, Thursday, or gold cohort, you will attend all day in person on Tuesday, September 15th. During the rest of the week, there will be asynchronous activities and some scheduled meets or check-ins. So more information will be shared by teachers about that.
Yeah, they had multiple kids, so they.
Christine, I apologize. I muted you. I apologize.
Okay,
You're good now.
going down. So it's 5th grade. So some of the pods, you'll notice they'll be 100% virtual. So Mr. Lang's teaching pod 4, which is going to be 100% virtual pod. And both 7th and 8th grade, their pod 5 is the 100% virtual pod. Okay, back to the orientation days. So for the orientation days for 100% virtual students, they will attend, they're in the Monday, Wednesday cohort. They will attend virtually on Monday, September 14th, and they will get Google Meet times or Google Classroom Meet times, which will be shared with the students by pod, class, or period. So they will they'll get invites in their email, which will have them sign in at a particular time or particular class. The same thing will happen if you're in the Tuesday, Thursday cohort, and that'll be on Tuesday. The rest of the week, there will be asynchronous activities and some scheduled meets or check-ins, and the teachers will share that information so that the students know what to expect. So I have we're going to go through some tips and reminders. Here we might come up with things, and if you come up with questions, we'll add to some of these as we go. But I want you to really remember that the students need to wear a mask, bring a mask and wear it. Everyone needs, if they have been issued a school Chromebook, you need to bring this Chromebook to school with you on Monday or Tuesday, whichever day you're coming, and have it be charged. We're going to work with the Chromebooks to get you oriented to some of the platforms that we're using. So it's important that you bring it with you. Bring a pencil, bring a closable water bottle, and you want to bring your lunch or snack. Breakfast and lunch are free till December 31st, but you need to sign up for that. That was something that was already shared, but we can, I'll send that out again. Please avoid sending food that needs to be warmed. I had that suggestion from some of the teachers, because what you need to know is that we're not sitting and using the cafeteria at this time. So all lunches are going to take place in the classroom. So students will be able to go through the line to get their purchased lunch, and they will come back to the classroom. and eat, and then they might go outside. So it's kind of a lunch and recess time, but they won't be eating in the cafe. Transportation. So more information will be coming out regarding bus transportation. If you've signed up for that, there's been a delay with our info binder system. If you've arranged to take the bus, your pickup time should be similar to last year. If you're in 5th grade or new, we will be sending something out to give you, sorry, my typing wasn't right on there, a general idea of what time to expect to be picked up. Everything I could say about giving everything some time is being reiterated by all of the teachers and everyone here. We know we're all experiencing it, and I know that you all will too. We have to get oriented and practice some of these things, especially things that are new that we're not accustomed to doing, and it will be an adjustment period for everybody. So I know that everyone has already been showing so much patience and kindness and appreciation, and I really have noticed that, and really we appreciate that. So thank you for all of it. We will definitely do this together. So I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, so then Ms. Krapp and I are going to work together on some questions.
These are the ones that I haven't answered.
Okay. The pod classroom numbers will be shared on the website, yes. That was a question. If they do, if you miss an in-person day, so if somebody is sick or absent, it's as any kind of time when you would be absent, it's great to let the office know, and then you will end up needing to send in a written note about your absence. You will work with the teachers to try to make up what was missed. One of the advantages of having most of the lessons and the information on Google Classroom is we might be able to use that to help get caught up if you're sick. Dropping off at multiple buildings, what's your advice? Yes, that will be a little bit of a challenge. I think the you're dropping off at the high school, they are starting at the same time, but you may want to go to the high school, through the high school first and then to us. It might make more sense in terms of trying the traffic flow. I know it's going to be a little tricky. We're going to have to see how it all works. We'll have a lot fewer people who are on campus altogether. So we're hoping that the traffic flow will go a little bit better than what we expect, but we might have to experiment a little bit. Just try one way first, and if it doesn't seem to work, we'll do it the other way. Where's the school supply list? Okay, school supply lists are on the website. So there is a link to them on the website, and they're also being sent in the schedule packets that are coming home. Is this menu?
Yeah, where are the menus? Where can they find the menu?
Oh, the lunch menu.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I would think that it would be right on the website underneath the menu, but I'll have to double check it. But I can send that information.
Will they need the supplies by orientation week? No. Right?
You don't have to have all of your supplies for orientation, no. That's except the ones that we talked about tonight.
We haven't received an email or any mail about what cohort my daughter is in. When will we get that information?
Okay, so the schedules have been mailed or are being mailed, and as soon as you receive that, you will have it in mail, but we are also sending an email to everyone to let you know about the first period class that you need to attend. And that will also tell you what your cohort is.
For planning purposes, can families find out about next week's asynchronous required meetings before the student comes home on Monday and Tuesday? I believe teachers will have that up in their Google Classrooms.
Yeah, for that kind of information, you should look in the teachers' Google Classrooms. That'll come out through that.
What happens if you, so where are you looking at the chat?
Okay, wait.
What happens if your hybrid student is healthy enough to do schoolwork but has to be quarantined? Can they participate 100% virtually? Yes, they can. Are there certain masks allowed? So some people are not comfortable with kids wearing gaiters. So,
if you're not comfortable wearing the
no,
gaiters,
they're not comfortable with other kids wearing gaiters.
oh, I see. No, they are, for school purposes, we are able to wear a variety of masks, including the gaiters. But I would say that one of the things that's most important is to make sure that it is multi-layers.
What does an online school day look like? Will students be expected to listen and watch a lesson, or will they be able to participate actively? They will be able to participate actively. There will be breakout sessions, and they will be an active participant in the classroom. Do Gold virtual students have to log in or do anything on Monday? No.
No,
Will
you'll start orientation on Tuesday.
will the hybrid students have to bring their Chromebook to school daily after orientation?
Yes. Okay, so all hybrid students who have a school issued Chromebook, you will need to bring your Chromebook back and forth to school. Parent access to Google Classroom is limited. Okay, so, well, the teacher should be able to share that and include you in the Google Classroom. What's the plan to help with child's IEP? All students who have an IEP have case manager and will be managing their goals and their assistance as needed. Our teachers delivering lectures for students on home days.
That will be.
It will, yeah, that I would say is going to vary some. I don't know that it will definitely be a lecture style. There will be some type of synchronous or asynchronous work that you will be doing on your home days. Plan on following the schedule that you receive, and the teachers will communicate and you will have the expectations laid out for you. Are students required to use school provided devices at school? We did not request a device from school because we have our own. If you do not need to send in a device from home. If you don't have one, we will provide one at school. Or if they're using school issued Chromebook at school only, but their own computer at home, can they be left at school and charged at school? Yes, we are working through that. Told school start 21st. I want to spend stuff in next week. The orientation days are on Monday and Tuesday. So you would be expected to be here the whichever day is your cohort day. How about enrichment? Somebody asked. We do not have a separate enrichment class this year. Do students have to use a locker, or can they carry their backpack? We won't be carrying backpacks. Your backpacks will go into your locker, and you probably will take out the things that you need for the day in terms of books and notebooks and those types of things, and have them in your pod classroom. So they'll be with you, so you don't have to go back and forth to the locker. Chromebooks were dropped off at my house today. One of the chargers doesn't go to the Chromebook. How can I get the correct charger? I would contact the technology department. Will there be a group email for each grade, or will we be receiving individual emails from each teacher? There will be probably a combination of that. There might be a whole grade level. I think it'll depend on the grade level situation, but each teacher, like for example, if you have one teacher for many subjects, you will probably have one Google Classroom for many subjects. But if you have multiple teachers for multiple subjects, you will have a Google Classroom for each of those subjects. How will band, orchestra, chorus, and orchestra work this year? So because of our changes to all of the amount of people who are able to gather and the amount of social distancing that we need, large ensembles will not be meeting during the school day. So there will be virtual inclusion for band, chorus, and orchestra. And there will be in-person lessons for orchestra, which will be arranged by the orchestra teachers during study halls and other periods during the day, so that we can make sure that everybody's got their lesson. And so we'll be arranging that. You'll hear from the orchestra and band teacher if you're involved with that. How often do students go to their lockers? Probably students will go to their lockers at the beginning of the day, at lunch, and at the end of the day.
Her mom needs to request one.
Oh, yes, if it's 100%, you know, if you are a student who's hybrid at this point, you will be coming to school and we will be trying to hook you up with a Chromebook as soon as possible. So if you don't have one and you need one, you will get one.
Okay. I have a private one that I need to read. You can't see it.
Okay.
Parents are trying to figure out programming for hybrid kids on virtual days. Asynchronous would allow a bit more flexibility, or at least knowing what specific plan or schedule would help us plan accordingly. So attendance will be different this year, and even if on a virtual day, or if you are a 100% virtual student, you still need to follow your daily schedule and log into each class.
Okay. There's a very helpful 9-minute video on Google Classroom for parents. Go to YouTube. That's great. Thank you for that. We'll be making more things available for parents in terms of technology and Google Classroom and some social emotional work.
So I have questions about taking backpacks to class. The backpacks unload all of their stuff from their backpacks, goes into their pod classroom. They won't be carrying them from room to room. It will all stay in that room all day long. We will have hopefully enough textbooks for textbooks to be at home and not have to be carried back and forth, but that still has to be figured out. We had some textbooks not returned at the end of last year. They are keeping their Chromebook and their textbooks in their pod classrooms with them all day.
I think it's hard to envision a little bit because we're all used to them moving in the school every period, but the students will be really in one place. So there will be a few times when they move, but they won't necessarily be taking all of their stuff with them. So for example, when they go to PE, maybe they'll have to switch into sneakers if they didn't have their sneakers on, but they're not going to carry their stuff with them. So everything, you know, maybe they'll take their water bottle, but it's just going to be much more what they might have been used to at the elementary school, where it's just kind of like a home base. Their pod is going to be their home.
So kids on the computer all day, at home on their virtual days. Will kids be on the computer all day, at home on their virtual days?
They'll be on their computers a lot. on the virtual days. But I, as far as all day, no. I mean, you'll have to be, my guess is you're going to be on and off, in and out, doing some things. Some things are going to be synchronous and you'll need to log in and do something with the teacher. And then sometimes they'll say, okay, now you have this other thing that you need to do. You might have to watch a video. You might have to do an activity. You might have to do something and then take a quiz or a survey or something like that. So there may be some on and off. So I don't want to give the sense that you're just on a Zoom meeting the entire day. It's not going to look like that. It'll be much more active.
Speak to how A and B days are working with.
Okay, so for A and B days, so if you're in the Monday, Wednesday cohort, Monday is an A day, Wednesday is a B day. And if you're in a Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday is an A day, Thursday is a B day. So if you have A and B classes, you will have basically that in person or synchronous once a week.
Will kids have to keep their masks on all day?
Yes, kids have to wear their masks all day, except for when you're eating and any kind of scheduled break. Let's see, everything without a backpack.
Should I bring my Chromebook to orientation day? Yes. Classroom does a student keep
Worried about
there is room in the classrooms with all of the desks moved out for kids to have a place to pile their items. The classrooms are much more streamlined. There is a lot of room in there. How do A and B days work for 100% virtual?
It's the same. A and B days for 100% virtual. You're going to follow your schedule. You'll get a schedule that'll have that in there. It works the same way.
Will they need a locker if they're staying in one classroom?
Yes, everybody will have a locker. There's a question about handling numerous emails to determine how and what to do, if anything. We do have a new organizational kind of a template or what goes in front of everything so that the students will be a little more organized. It's called ClassLink. And all of the Google Classrooms will be available all on one page. So you'll be able to see everything and the resources and all of the things the students need. It'll come up when they sign in, so you'll have quick access to everything that's needed. It's a step up from what we were dealing with in the spring. So I think you're really going to like it, and I think it'll help parents and students stay more organized and have it be more clear what it is that needs to be done.
Weren't they split into different cohorts to allow enough space between each student in order for them to remove their masks? It's 6 feet and a mask.
6 feet and a mask, yes, that is the requirement.
It's going to be possible, especially for kids with special needs. It's not possible. That's okay.
What do you suggest for dropping off 2 different grades in the middle school? I have a 5th and 8th grader. Can I drop off the 8th grader in the front circle but have them enter the correct door? Yeah. I would say that the 8th grader could handle going around. I wouldn't try to do both. So I don't know how many people we're going to have that situation with, but let's try just going through the 5th grade and dropping the 8th grader off, who will need to, be responsible about social distancing, and we'll have people out supervising that can help as well. Okay.
make it safer for kids to carry all the items in a backpack to the pod room and then unpack them. What's the rationale for not carrying backpacks?
They're carrying, well, because they're not going anywhere to carry the stuff, they're not really using, they're not really using the backpack. They're not going anywhere.
Sorry, just to be clear, students should not bring backpacks to school. Students can bring their on the road.
Is that a private message?
No.
Okay.
One load.
Okay, so I think that there's a little bit of, how many breaks? Wait, do the kids have to be able to take the mask off? I don't know the answer to that exactly. Student needs a replacement mask. Where can one be picked up at school? We will have, all of the teachers will have access to masks as well as in the office and at all the entrances. Okay, so I have recorded this, and so we can have a recording of everything available to you. We'll also make this slideshow available with the information, and more information will be on the website. You can anticipate getting an email or confirming your cohort and where you are to start your day on Monday or Tuesday. And we will get everyone's schedule in the mail. Anticipate that you might get a new one because there might be a kink here and there. Mrs. Thompson's shaking her head. Is there anything you'd like to say about that, Mrs. Thompson?
Okay. There's been a lot of schedule changes. We've been, switching as parents have received the information. They are, putting in a lot of requests. So I would expect that we'll run a whole new set and have them ready for kids as they come in first thing in the.
Ms. Thompson, we can't hear you.
Oh, do you have me muted?
I could hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we were able to hear her.
Okay. All right. So you will get another schedule.
I think I can't unmute her.
Likely if not before, because we'll see your kids before they can get to you in the mail. They'll be distributed. They'll have their first period teacher.
Oh, I can hear her. Okay.
Okay.
No.
Check school tool, and everything's being updated. So you should be able to see everything in school tool if you open your parent portal.
Great. Someone asked, are any of the changes in the cohort or just class schedules? It would likely just be class schedules. If there's some kind of a cohort change, unless it's a virtual, that could possibly be a virtual change, but not an in-person change. You would know, we would let you know. So if it doesn't match, please reach out to us and we will take care of whatever the kink is. I know a couple people already have. Registered for school tool 3 times and still nothing's been sent back to me. We can contact the, what do you write down? Contact the tech department about any kind of complications with that. Okay. Thank you for staff for all your hard work. That's nice. Yeah, well, it's been a challenge, yeah. But we are in this together and we're all working really hard. So we're very excited for the school year. So stay in touch. We will provide another opportunity at some point for us to all do this. This is great that we can get together virtually. And we will look for other trainings and other helpful tips for families and send them out to you as well. So thank you for everything. And we'll see you soon.